Sky Italia are reporting in the last couple of minutes that Tottenham are in advanced negotiations with Antonio Conte over the vacant managerial role. As the rumour mill continues to go around, the Pochettino dream could potentially be over, as even more stories are suggesting that he will not be allowed to leave Paris Saint-Germain this summer. Look, we're going to get straight into the Antonio Conte news and get the updates on that. But look, before we do get started, if you are new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more updates on Tottenham's pursuit of a manager, plus the Tottenham Hotspur Transfer Talk series, which will be coming back this summer. And let's dive straight into things. And like I said, Sky Italia have claimed that Tottenham and Antonio Conte are in advanced negotiations over the vacant managerial role. We saw the odds on Antonio Conte coming to Spurs shorten quickly overnight. They'll be up on the side of the screen there in a second, as the Pochettino rumours came out that he'd asked to leave, and then were very quickly squashed by French reports. We see here the Sky Bet have Antonio Conte at just 3-1 to be the next Spurs manager, Boyle Sports at 5-1, Paddy Power and Betfair at 6-1, and those odds have continued to shorten throughout the afternoon. I think they might be a bit outdated there, but it is. Boyle Sports now have Antonio Conte at 3-1, so the odds are continuing to shorten this afternoon as Spurs look to replace Jose Mourinho. Is a Pochettino dream over? It's starting to look increasingly likely that it is. Spurs do want to get their manager appointed very, very quickly. And Aidan there is saying that Fabrizio Romano has tweeted, and Romano has now tweeted 3 minutes ago. Aidan, thanks for bringing that to my attention. Tottenham have contacted Antonio Conte as a candidate for Spurs' job. Not done, but talks ongoing about potential project, contract and salary. Conte is one of the options in Tottenham's list, as PSG are still in the same position about Mauricio Pochettino. So have Spurs potentially given up on their pursuit of Pochettino? Well, Fabrizio Romano certainly seems to think that they are exploring other options, as he reiterates that Tottenham are in talks with Antonio Conte about potential project, contract and salary. Now, I'd be very, very interested to know what the dealings are there with Antonio Conte. You know, is there going to be a director of football coming in? There have been a lot of reports that Spurs have offered the job to Fabio Paratici, who worked with Antonio Conte at Juventus and was at Juventus for 11 years, overseeing that 9-year reign they had over the Serie A. Aaron Fernandez there saying Antonio Conte is now 5-4 with Sky Bet. So Antonio Conte, the odds continue to shorten. I see here 11-4 with Sky Bet, 6-1 with Paddy Power, 3-1 with Bet Victor, 3-1 with Boyle Sports as well. So it is, with every second that passes, looking like Conte is going to take the lead in this race for the Spurs managerial role. We do have Brian Daigle here saying, now here we go again, day 45 without a manager. Brian, good to see you tuning in. But yeah, it is, according to the Spurs web on Twitter, the longest any team in the top 5 Europe leagues have gone without a manager. 45 days since Jose Mourinho was sacked. Nearly said 45 years there. It feels as though it's been that long. Joe Thurgood says depends on if he gets backed by Levy. Tom James Smith says no, Poch, it's nearly done. He's asked to leave. Look, we'll touch on Pochettino a little bit later, but we're not entirely sure that he has asked to leave Paris Saint-Germain just yet, but the report suggests that he has. Bennett just subscribed. Thank you so much for your support, Bennett, as it says there on the screen. Anyone else, if you do want to subscribe for more updates like these, as Tottenham try and find their new manager, please do make sure to hit that subscribe button. Bob, you may be eating that slipper soon. Just with a no there in the live chat, Bob, and along with myself, really, really wanting Poch to be the new manager. Brian says, so apparently Poch is asked to leave and now Conte is in the frame, so Levy is playing two managers against each other. Look, I think, I have the banner behind me. I don't want ENIC, I don't want Daniel Levy, but this situation isn't entirely in their control. It's not, they can't, if Poch isn't allowed to leave PSG, or if it's very difficult for him to leave PSG, they can't control whether or not he does leave, and it could just be out of our hands on this one. Now, I have said the £30 million that we saved on sacking Jose Mourinho when we did, maybe then those funds could be used to bring Pochettino, but if we're seeing what's coming out today, I think it's the Pochettino deal could very well be off. Bradley says Conte is better than Poch. We've Bradley Coombs, channel member, saying that. We've Russ saying, who do you want as the new manager? Russ, I personally want Mauricio Pochettino. I hadn't even mentioned him as a potential managerial candidate before the news from Alistair Gold last Thursday, but I think the majority of Spurs fans do want him at this stage. Jake Gauntlet, thank you very much for subscribing. Paul Gregory says, where did this news come from? This has come from Sky Italia and Fabrizio Romano. That Sky Italia saying we are in advanced negotiations with the former Inter Milan, Chelsea and Juventus manager, whereas Fabrizio Romano in the last 6 minutes tweeted, Tottenham have contacted Antonio Conte as a candidate for the Spurs job. Not done, but talks are ongoing about a potential project, contract and salary. Conte is one of the options in Tottenham's list, as PSG are still in the same position about Mauricio Pochettino. Caleb says he'll play 3 to back if we get him. Aaron says, I'll be happy as hell with either Poch or Conte, if I'm honest. Think both bring things this football club need right now. We've got Cenk here in the live chat, says, yes, Matty, Conte vibes. Well, I know, Cenk, you're a big advocate for Conte being the next manager of Spurs. We'll have to get you on the channel in the next couple of days to talk about this one. Priyansh says, Matt, your prediction about Conte is going to be true. Well, look, first of all, Thomas, thank you very much for subscribing. And I did predict I think it was last Wednesday, that Antonio Conte would be the new manager of Spurs. It was before the news about Pochettino, and maybe in a roundabout way I may turn out to be right, but Eunice, thank you very much for subscribing. I don't think I'm going to take too much credit for that prediction, because so much has happened since then, and I've said since then I think I was wrong and that Poch will be the new manager. But look, if people want to give me credit for it, I don't think I'm going to be too annoyed about that. Josh, maybe that is, says news on this Paratici guy, the director from Juventus. Well, it was Tuttosport who reported last week that Spurs had offered the job to Fabio Paratici, who is leaving Juventus after 11 years as their sporting director. And Fabrizio Romano said on Chris Cowlin's YouTube channel yesterday, Tayeb, thank you for subscribing, said that Tottenham could also appoint a new executive director to the club's board this transfer window. So it could be a big shake-up in Tottenham's recruitment process happening this summer, which could be one of the main reasons why Antonio Conte is even considering this job, because we know he's left Inter Milan because of a lack of control over things like that. Milan want to raise up to £80 million in the transfer window this summer. They also want to reduce their wage budget by 15 to 20%, which is not good enough for Conte. He listed 8 players that he wanted them to keep in order to keep him at the club, including Milan Skriniar and Romelu Lukaku. However, it seems as though he wasn't assured those players would remain at the club, and he decided to resign after winning the league, Inter Milan's first league in 11 years, in a crazy set of circumstances. Mark, thank you very much for subscribing. I appreciate it. So I would assume there are a lot of assurances and a lot of upheaval within the recruitment process at Spurs for Conte to even be considering this job at all. Josh, thank you for subscribing. Bob Spurs says, why would Conte take the job knowing full well he's second choice? Look, it's there are a lot more to it. There's a lot more to it than all of this, and I said that with regards to Pochettino and the different reasons why he might want to take the Spurs job. And look, you have to remember, Pochettino was our second choice when we appointed him back in May of 2014, but I don't think Conte would care that he's second choice. Once he comes in there and he's convinced by Daniel Levy that this is the right project for him, once he wants this job, he won't care if he was first, second, third, fourth, fifth choice. Bond, thank you very much for subscribing. If he's getting what he wants, if he's getting what he needs, and he feels he can make Spurs successful, he's going to take that job regardless. And that is where I feel we are with this one. And look, at the end of the day, we don't know for sure that Conte was second choice. JK, however I pronounce that, thank you very much for hitting that subscribe button. So I think, just once Conte has what he wants, that's why he'll take the job. We don't know for sure that he is second choice, that he's third, fourth, fifth, sixth choice. What we're hearing is that Tottenham have been pursuing Mauricio Pochettino. We've been in talks with Pochettino. But throughout this whole time, we could also have been in talks with Conte. So it could have been a very, very equal playing field, level playing field for these two managers. And it just so happens that maybe PSG's reluctance to let Pochettino go has swayed us in the way of Conte. So maybe he has become our first choice, but in a way that was kind of out of our control. I don't think that would be any concern to Conte, and if he is in talks and willing to take this job, I think that does confirm that. Aaron says Skriniar and Lukaku to follow Conte if Kane leaves. I'm hopeful. Well, I don't think Lukaku will be coming anytime soon, but there could be quite a few Inter Milan players coming with him. You know, Milan Skriniar, who we were linked to last season, the players like Nicolo Barella, who is doing very well in the middle of the park for them, and look, there's a lot of great players in that team, of course, led them to the Serie A title last season. Christopher says, once the extension was activated on Poch's contract, it was going to be difficult. We should not ignore what Conte has achieved, and we should count ourselves lucky that he is interested in coming to us. And that is, that's a point that I very much agree with. Robert, cheers for subscribing. That is a point I do agree with, that we should count ourselves lucky that he's interested in coming to Spurs, because a lot of people are saying, we don't want another former Chelsea manager. It's a third in the last decade with Villas-Boas, Jose Mourinho, and now Antonio Conte. But we can't sit here and be envious of the success that Chelsea have, while in the same breath turning our nose up at a manager who helped them get that success. And yes, the investment and the recruitment are very different at Chelsea, and it will be more of a challenge for Antonio Conte at Spurs. But he still is a successful manager. He's managed 12 full seasons in competitive football. He's won the league in 6 of those. It's something like 5 of his last 7 seasons he's won the league. And a lot of the time it's been with underdogs. Stuart, thanks so much for the support. He's won it with Chelsea the year after they finished. Was it 9th or 10th? The next season he won that league. in 2016-17, and he won it with 93 points. This season he's gone to Inter Milan, and he's ended Juventus' reign of 9 successive seasons winning that league title. And you have to remember, he's the one who started that for Juventus. He won them their first title in that 9-year spell. So he is someone who knows how to win. He knows how to win leagues. Now, I don't think he's going to win the league at Spurs. I think Spurs are so far behind Manchester City that we can't even begin to comprehend any sort of a possibility of winning the league. But if we get an FA Cup, if he gets us back in the top 4, back in the Champions League, and we start to build from there, because that is what we need. We were in a situation where, when we appointed Jose Mourinho, that there was the possibility to maybe have that one crazy season where we went on to win something. Covens, thank you for subscribing. Because despite the poor form we'd shown in the latter stages of Mauricio Pochettino, we still had what we felt was an incredible squad that could compete at the top level. Right now, that's not what we have. We're completely different. So that idea of getting in that manager who will bring us short-term success and win the league or win a Champions League very quickly, that's not there right now. It simply isn't. It is a project. Whoever comes into this football club, it is a project. And that is what we need. And Antonio Conte getting us back into Champions League, getting us back in that top 4 could be... Look, it could be the best he could achieve with us. But if we win a Europa League or if we win an FA Cup or a League Cup along the way, well, all of a sudden that's progress for the club. And it may not be the level of progress that we wanted, or 3 or 4 years ago, winning a League Cup being progress wasn't what we wanted, because we felt we were ahead of that without actually hitting that level. It almost felt as though we had bypassed that level of winning the domestic trophies to get to that level to compete for a Premier League and compete for a Champions League. But maybe Antonio Conte, like I said, could be that one to get us back in there. Martin says, Spurs fans backed Jose because of his CV, knowing that he's a terrible manager. You should be counting your lucky stars if you get Conte. I absolutely agree with you on that one, Martin. I really do, as I always do. Pumpkin Owl says, reiterating Fabrizio Romano's tweet, or was it what he said on Chris Cowland's channel, saying Conte wants an immediate return to management. He will be perfect for Tottenham, but he needs to have talks with Tottenham, and those talks, as we said, are ongoing. And I have it here. This is what Romano said. Antonio Conte wants to return to management now, but he needs complete backing from his next club. Mike Wazowski, thank you very much for hitting that subscribe button. And I'm just going to see if I can find, see if that was a tweet from Fabrizio Romano, because he did mention Antonio Conte yesterday or the day before. Yeah, maybe it was on the video with Chris Cowland, but he did say Conte. He used the phrase Conte will be perfect for Tottenham. Now, I don't necessarily think that's true. I don't think Antonio Conte is the absolute perfect man for us. I still think that is Pochettino. But it doesn't change the fact that Conte could be a very good addition for this football club. And he could be someone who brings us to a rather decent level. And he will need backing. There's no doubt. But I keep reiterating that any manager who comes into Spurs will need backing. Whether it's Conte, whether it's Poch, whether it's Scott Parker, they will need that money, and they will need to be able to build their own squad to have any chance of achieving anything at this football club. Thank you very much to that new subscriber there. I just missed the name, so I apologise. But Jerry, to you as well, thank you for subscribing. Jack Legros says Conte, the new favourite on Sky Betting. So Sky Bet are putting him right up there at the top as their favourite. Yeah, so he is the favourite now with Sky Bet, and that is the only market he's currently the favourite. He's there at 5-4. Mauricio Pochettino odds drifting now to 7-4. I'll update those odds for the next live stream. These were the odds about an hour before I went live, so we can see how quickly that has changed. You've gone from 3-1 to 5-4 on Sky Bet. Paddy Power 6-1 now coming in at 7-2. Paul Markey donating €5 through Super Chat. Paul, you're always coming in with those Super Chats. We really do appreciate it. If Conte is given the job, Levy will have us again. He's only a short-term manager. And look, I do think there are two ways of looking at it. One is kind of the way I was looking at this initially. Connor, thank you for subscribing. The way I was looking at it initially when we were first looking for a manager and Eric Ten Hag was an option, I didn't quite want Ten Hag because it felt as though it would mark the end of an era of the players that we have at our club, the likes of Lloris, Alderweireld, Kane, Son. Tom, thank you for hitting that subscribe button. Where if we bring in this manager, this kind of rebuild manager, he will have to get rid of these players, because you'd want to get that kind of the new players coming through and all that. Alan, so many people subscribing. I do appreciate everyone. Thank you so much for hitting that button. Because we'd then be selling those players, moving them on, and they'd be leaving Spurs without a trophy. So I kind of wanted this type of manager. Jason, cheers for hitting subscribe. I did want this type of manager to get that try and get those couple of trophies. And the more I've kind of gone on, and I will absolutely admit the Mauricio Pochettino rumours and for so long the likelihood of him joining. Paddy, thanks for subscribing. It kind of changed my view on that. It's like, okay, but let's get that rebuild, because Pochettino is a better option than any manager. I really do feel he's a better option than any other manager, and it kind of swayed the direction that I kind of wanted this club to go. Talking Tottenham again, thank you so much for subscribing. So I did kind of change the way I wanted to go there, but I think rebuild is probably now the best way to go, because this team, like I said, is not going to compete. Nick, thank you for subscribing. I can't keep up with all of these, so I'm going to stop shouting them out. But to everyone else who does subscribe, I really do appreciate it. So we are now in that place where I just don't think this squad is good enough to compete on that level. So we do need a rebuild. Conte, like I said, could be that type of project manager. He could potentially be the one to get us back into that top four and all that. He's not going to be long term. He never really has been long term. And a very interesting point that was made on Pax and Row TV last night by Darius. He was saying that Conte has never been sacked, or no big club at least has sacked Antonio Conte. He was at Juventus, he walked. He was at the Italian job, he walked. He was at Chelsea, he left himself, and now with Inter Milan, he's walked as well. Christopher Howard donating the £5 for the super chat. Thank you very much for that, Christopher. Really, really do appreciate it. If you miss out a comment on that, put it in the live chat, and I will make sure to get to it. But Conte has never been sacked in any of these big jobs. So I mean, first of all, that's a very good sign. Now there has been instances where he's fallen out with the board, as we've just seen at Inter Milan, but there would have to be some sort of concessions and some sort of acceptance of change on Antonio Conte's side if he was going to take this job at Spurs, in a similar way to how Jose Mourinho did it, because Jose was always at short term, quick fire, let's get trophies, then I'll annoy every player in the dressing room and I'll get sacked. When Jose came to Spurs, I kind of felt as though that was changing, and he said it himself during that 9-month sabbatical between his job at United and being appointed at Spurs, that he had changed as a manager, he changed as a man, all this, what turned out to be crap. But I feel at the beginning he believed that himself, that he did want to change his approach to management. And Antonio Conte is absolutely going to have to make some similar concessions, because at Chelsea, at Juventus, I'm not sure if it was exactly the same at Inter Milan, but he was given money and he was said, you want to buy these players, here's the money, go out and buy them. And he was allowed full control over transfers. As much as Daniel Levy could sit down with Conte and say, we're bringing in Fabio Paratici, we're bringing in you, we're giving you a budget, you have full control over transfers. As much as Daniel Levy could say that to Antonio Conte, it isn't true. Levy will not be able to renounce the entire power over transfers to anybody else. He's in some regard done it with Steve Hitchen, but Steve Hitchen appears to be some sort of yes man for Daniel Levy, which is, in some way, it's lightening the workload that Daniel Levy has, but in the same way, he's not going to have to spend any more money, and the transfers are to some degree still within his power. And I think Conte will probably know that. I hope to God, if he does take this job, he knows that it won't be as easy for him to have control over all that as he had initially thought. But it is a massive advance in this move today, and to all these people subscribing, they're absolutely flying in now. Really, really do appreciate that. Anyone hit that subscribe button if you want more updates on Tottenham's pursuit of a manager and the Tottenham Hotspur Transfer Talk series coming back this summer, as Igor has just done there. While you are here, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps me push this video out to more and more people. We're currently on 72 likes with 400 people watching, so let's get that to 150. Let's get that up to 150. If you haven't already, please do hit that like button. We'll just reiterate the breaking news this afternoon coming from Sky Italia and Fabrizio Romano, that Tottenham and Antonio Conte are in advanced negotiations over the vacant managerial role, and in the 20 minutes since I've started streaming, the odds have been slashed on Antonio Conte being the new manager. So the ones beside me are a little outdated. He is now the favourite on Sky Bet, William Hill, Betfred, Boyle Sports and Betfair Exchange to be the new Spurs manager. It is a crazy turn of events from where we were about 12 hours ago, when we began hearing that Pochettino had actually requested to leave Paris Saint-Germain. We don't know if that is true, but look, let's touch on that a little bit, because Fabrizio Romano on Chris Cowland's channel yesterday has said that Mauricio Pochettino will have to go public with his desire to leave PSG, or he may be forced to stay. And that, I feel, is the biggest stumbling block in Tottenham's pursuit of Mauricio Pochettino. It is the outright biggest stumbling block, because Pochettino is not that type of man who will go out publicly to say, I want to leave PSG. He won't break that bond with the fans. As DM says there, Poch isn't like that. I just really, really don't feel that was likely for... that's also the point of Poch resigning. I just don't feel that was it. I think Pochettino would have to have pen put to paper with Daniel Levy, with Spurs, with PSG, before he publicly said anything, because he doesn't want to ruin that PSG, the relationship with those fans beyond repair, even with the players as well. Because if Poch comes out and he says, okay, I want to leave PSG, I want to go back to Spurs, and then all of a sudden Tottenham turn the corner and go for Conte, or Tottenham turn around and go for Scott Parker or Eric Ten Hag because it's cheaper, well then Poch is in a terrible position. He has an irreparable relationship with those fans, with the players, and one that's already difficult with the board gets even worse. And then he's in a really, really sticky situation. So Poch simply can't be the first one to show his hand in this move because it could cost him both jobs. Right now he seems to have the choice of two. It could cost him everything. Billy says, absolutely love your streams, Matt. Sky Sports News-esque. I appreciate that, Billy. Thank you very, very much. So Poch just can't do that. And even if he could, I don't think he'd be the type of man to do that because of his loyalties, because of his morals and all that. And that, I feel, is where we are losing out on bringing Pochettino back to North London, which is absolutely devastating. Now, the reports last night were all over the place on Mauricio Pochettino. I can't quite find I had a headline here that's missing, but Alistair Gold said for the first time last night that he understood that Mauricio Pochettino had said to PSG that he wants to leave. Liberation, a French outlet as well, the first French source that I saw saying the story, said that Pochettino wanted to leave. Now, a very interesting point was made on the We Are Tottenham TV stream a while ago. I think it came in a super chat or a tweet. And someone said it's very interesting that whenever we get positive news about Pochettino from the Spurs side of things, within minutes, and I mean within minutes, PSG from France and a few English sources citing PSG immediately squashed those rumours down. The Daily Telegraph, Jason Burt said about 10 minutes after the Alistair Gold news and the Liberation news broke, Jason Burt says he's spoken to PSG and they said Conte or Pochettino hasn't asked to leave. And every single source in France has said, apart from Liberation, said that Poch does not want to leave and he has not expressed a desire to leave. Now, Julian Maynard was speaking today. I believe he's from TF1. And he said that due to complexities in the deal to sign Pochettino, Tottenham are now pursuing Ajax's Eric Ten Hag. That is not believed to be true. Fabrizio Romano said yesterday that Eric Ten Hag can be ruled out of the running for the Tottenham job. But there is a first suggestion from France that Tottenham themselves had actually given up on that pursuit of Mauricio Pochettino, and it does feel that is where we are. Alistair Gold spoke yesterday or the day before and said that Tottenham have not given up on their pursuit of Mauricio Pochettino despite hitting roadblocks. That may not be the case anymore. We know Alistair Gold is on a couple of days holidays, and we've always said when Gold goes on holidays, things happen. And it seems to be happening again with this Antonio Conte news coming out, and it's coming out thick and fast as even more and more reports continue to suggest that Tottenham are in advanced negotiations with Antonio Conte. Could he be appointed by the end of the week? Well, we know Fabrizio Romano said that Tottenham will have their new manager in place before the Euros begin next Friday. Maybe that is a reason why we're giving up on Pochettino, because it's not that easy to get that deal done in the time frame that Spurs may want to get it done. Is Antonio Conte simply the option to get the deal done as quickly as possible? A lot of people felt that today was the day Spurs manager would be announced because the season ticket renewals close tomorrow, and there's a different feeling in the fan base that if the new manager isn't announced before the end of that season ticket renewal period, that we're in for a very upsetting announcement, because if it's a good manager, they'd announce it before the renewal date so that people would buy them. But if not, if it's a bad one, they'll wait till after, so it won't affect those numbers because it'll be over at that stage. But Romano said that Tottenham will appoint a new manager before the European Championships begin, and it's looking now as though that's going to be Antonio Conte. And I've said it in the whole way through the last week that Conte is a damn good plan B. He's a damn good option too, and it looks as though that is what Spurs may be settling for now. I'm still gonna sit there and say I want Pochettino, because I do want Pochettino. I want him back at the club. My screensaver has been Pochettino for the last 5 days. I have videos recorded ready to go up if Pochettino is appointed. James Redmond said Pochettino was a false favourite all along, a smokescreen, and well, that's what Conte could be. That is what Conte could be. If Daniel Levy is trying to push Pochettino to leave PSG and to publicly announce his desire to leave, if Poch is sitting on the fence with that, Levy or Spurs leaking this news to the press that we're in advanced talks with Antonio Conte, if that is the case right now, could be a way to force Pochettino's hand and to make him come out and say what he wants to say if he really wants to be the next manager of Spurs. So every single story that we're hearing, from PSG saying Poch hasn't said he wants to leave, to Spurs saying that we're in advanced talks with Conte, every single story we're hearing has the potential to be some sort of smokescreen, to be some sort of kind of cover up to force someone else's hand in that, and that's what we need to be wary of, and that is why there are so many kind of differing stories coming out. It's why there are so many kind of stories being repeated a few days after each other, and it's just the way this works. It's transfers, but with managers, and in this insane transfer merry-go-round that we've seen in the last couple of weeks, it's no surprise that this is happening. But it looks like we are down to the final two. It looks like it will be Antonio Conte or Mauricio Pochettino. And if we had to guess right now, I think a lot of us would say that Antonio Conte will be the next manager of Spurs. To reiterate the news coming out this afternoon from Sky Italia and Fabrizio Romano, Tottenham and Antonio Conte are in advanced negotiations over the vacant managerial role. Romano said the talks, there's nothing done yet, but talks are ongoing about potential project, contract and salary. Have Spurs given up on Mauricio Pochettino, or is this a smokescreen to force the Argentine's hand? Only time will tell as Spurs race to get their manager in place in the next 9 days before Euro 2020 begins with Turkey facing Italy. If you have enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button. Let me know in the live chat and afterwards in the comment section down below who you want to see in the dugout for Spurs next season, and as well what it may mean for the future of Harry Kane, who continues to seek a move away from Spurs this season. Make sure to subscribe if you are new, and if you haven't already, for more videos like this, plus the Tottenham Hotspur Transfer Talk series coming out when the window opens very, very soon. As always, to everyone who's joined over the last half an hour